Okay, you want to kick us off?
All right, team. So great to have you here. You know that every time we are talking with anybody at GoPro or what have you, the question is, what are you using for a CRM? And it's been difficult to get a straight answer from somebody about what works, what doesn't work. So I jumped on Teamzy when I heard it mentioned about 3 months ago, I think. And there's 2 weeks of free trial. And so I was able to do that and upload all my contacts. And then I started paying for it and started using it. And it's been working for me. I don't know that it's, that it's for everybody, but it's definitely working for me. And I wanted to have Eric, who is the creator of it, share with you what we're doing. So take it away, Eric.
Thank you very much. I will say you guys are going to love it. Don't worry. How many of you have ever used a CRM before? How many of you thought that was a fun experience? All right, there you go. Usually it's not fun to use a CRM, and it's just to kind of give you guys a little background into this, just because for whatever. The best parts of my presentation, they say, are my tangents. So I spent 21 years as a business consultant and business coach, helping people build their business. And I had to use CRM for 15 years of that time. I worked for somebody else, for a consulting agency. I had to use CRM, and I hated using it. I just thought it would be really cool to build one that I liked using, and it's kind of taken off, if that makes sense. So that's kind of the background. So for any of you who have been like, what do I use, or how should I do it? The reason why I think that CRMs can be really annoying is, first of all, they're designed by engineers who aren't actually making sales, right? So I had to add that last piece, because people are like, I'm an engineer. No, I love engineers. My point is, we don't let them design it. We tell them what we need, and then we help them architect it, right? So that's the biggest thing. So I'm going to dive right in here and teach you a little bit about Teamzy. Before I show you the actual software, I want to teach you a little bit about the approach. And I think you guys this will resonate with you, because Teamzy is not just like you probably already can tell, I'm a nerd, but not a tech nerd, right? Like, so Teamzy is not just going to be, oh, cool, look at all the gizmo, the way it works. It's actually a system of building business that I've been teaching for 21 years. It's called relationship marketing. It's an approach to building a business authentically, building authentic relationships. The software lets you get it done in less than an hour a day. That's the cool thing about the software. All your lead gen activities, your daily, what you need to do to touch your business on a daily basis, less than an hour, in and out, which is cool. Plus you can use it on your phone. So you can do it in little 10-minute gaps, right? Gap time, you can do some of it and get it done that way too. So let me show you how this works. You guys see that presentation coming up? Oh, wait, hold on one second. I had to take my second screen down, or else it'll show the navigator instead of the screens. Okay, here we go. So this is the topic: systemize your success with relationship marketing to become a power hour boss. There's 3 pieces. One is relationship marketing. I'm going to teach you that right now. We're going to give you a system to it so that you can repeat your success consistently over time, and you can duplicate it with people you're bringing onto your team. We're going to help you do it in less than an hour a day so you can become power hour boss yourself. Okay, a little bit about me. I already told you guys a little bit that I've been a consultant, helping people use this system to build their business. I actually wrote a book called Power Hour Boss. So that's going to be kind of our theme tonight. But just to kind of give you some background, I got into direct sales as a side hustle. How many of you, it's a side hustle? Anybody have it as a side hustle? Yeah, so for me, it was a side hustle. I had this great job as a business coach and consultant that I really loved. Here was the challenge that I had. It wasn't enough for me, meaning I didn't get to have any extra time. I was always working. And here's a little shot of the family. I just wanted to be with my family more. I wanted more flexibility with my time to enjoy my life. Can you guys relate to this? Yes, absolutely. And even though I really enjoyed my job and the people I worked with and what I was doing, I felt like I was making a difference. I would see my family in the morning. I'd leave while they were still in their pajamas, and I'd come home, they'd be back in their pajamas. And I know a lot of you guys feel this. I wanted something more than that. I also wanted to not have anybody else in control of my income. And when the last big recession we had, I was laid off from my job. That was how many of you guys have ever been laid off? It's brutal because it has nothing to do with you or your performance or what you bring to the table, right? And it's out of your control. I just wanted to take that control back. So I started my side hustle. But how the heck am I going to build a business when I already have no time? Right? And so I started really thinking about it. I looked at my business. I said, I can maybe put 1 hour each day into this business if I maybe sleep a little bit less. And if I'm going to do that, I want to be focused for that hour. I want to make sure that it's productive, not just busy. And so I started looking for tools and software to help me in my business. And what I found was there just wasn't anything in this industry, right? There was nothing that put relationships first. There was nothing that helped me to do the activities I needed to get done in that hour. Really, it was just like, it was like having a really complicated electronic filing cabinet, right? You stare at it going, what drawer do I pull open? So long story short, I found a team of people smarter than me. We built it. So we launched Teamzy just about 7 years ago. We launched Teamzy. We're not a big tech company. We don't have angel investors. We built this ourselves. We launched it, and it has grown just by word of mouth, by people recommending it to their teams. We've grown, and we just hit 7 years. Actually, I need to update this slide, but we've had more than 150,000 network marketers use Teamzy, which is amazing and humbling. And again, that's just by people recommending it to each other. Just like Brenda heard somebody mention it. Did you say at a GoPro conference or something? Somebody mentioned it. So, yeah, and that's just how we've grown. And just to give you an idea, as far as results, our active users are averaging 21 customers and 9 recruits over 90 days. 21 customers and 9 recruits over 90 days. I always measure over 90 days. I'm sure some of you guys have been in the business a while. You know that there's a 90-day cycle to action, right? So I always measure in 90 days. And so hopefully you guys will get in here and use this for 90 days and see what you can do. So let's talk about the topic. What is relationship marketing? 20 years ago, when I talked about relationship marketing, people thought I was strange. Now everybody's heard the term, at least, just like when people said, what do you do for a living? I said, I'm a coach, business coach. They thought I was weird too. Now it's normal, right? So we're kind of normalizing these things, but I want to clarify what relationship marketing is. First and foremost, it's a philosophy. It's a philosophy of doing business that puts relationships and people ahead of sales and products. Okay. It's a philosophy of doing business that puts relationships and people ahead of sales and products. One of the reasons our industry has turned a lot of people off and caused a lot of resistance and skepticism is because the traditional approaches put the sale ahead of the relationship. It makes people feel like they have a target painted on their back, right? And whether or not that's your intention, that's the way they sometimes feel, maybe often feel. So we're going to flip that on our heads. We're going to invest in the relationship first. The next piece is that relationship marketing is not some abstract feel-good concept. We're not going to hold hands and sing Kumbaya at the end of my presentation tonight, unless you guys really want to, but I only know the first verse. You need to know that relationship marketing is a proven system. It's a proven system that we follow, always knowing what to do next. Now, what's beautiful about this? How many of you like to always know what to do next? It's pretty cool. The best part about this is it's easy to duplicate too. It's easy to teach because it's a proven system. Okay. The next piece I want you guys to understand is that relationship marketing is a lead generation system. It's a lead generation system. That's a system that initiates consumer interest or inquiry into the products or services of a business. I know it's a mouthful. You guys are pros though. You can handle big mouthfuls, right? Okay. Why am I telling you this? Because as the owner of your business, your primary role is to generate leads, right? If you owned a restaurant, does anyone own a restaurant? If you own a restaurant, your job is to bring customers to the restaurant. The people who work in the restaurant serve the customers, but the owner brings them customers to serve, right? Now, in your case, you're probably serving the customers and bringing the customers, and that's okay. But you need to know that your primary role is lead generation. I want you guys to understand this principle is that you're in the lead generation business. That's your business. And again, lead generation, that's initiating consumer interest or inquiry into your products and services. That's your role, creating interest in that. Make sense? Now, the next principle I want you to understand is this, and that's that developing and deepening relationships is your paramount duty as a business owner. Developing and deepening relationships is your duty. Grant Cardone always says, success is my duty. Have you guys ever tuned into Grant Cardone? Some of you guys have. I mean, he's one of those guys that you either love him or hate him. I go by the old Irish adage of you eat the meat, spit out the bones, right? Eat the meat, spit out the bones. But I love the sense of duty. I think, yes, I like that success is your duty, but how do you get there? You get there by building relationships. Make sense? And so if you focus your business on deepening relationships, you're going to create all the success. Make sense? Okay. Why are relationships so important? Relationships are important because we turn relationships into advocates. We turn relationships into advocates by investing time in providing outstanding service. See, we can get a sale, but if we build a relationship and create an advocate, we get dozens, right? This is how you build the business long-term. If you guys are like doing go for no challenges or just like hardcore hitting the phones and things like that is burnout city. 10 years from now, you're still doing that. Forget it. I mean, honestly, some people are okay with that. We find it's about 3% of people can do that long-term. When you build an army of advocates, people who are excited about your mission, who are introducing friends and family to the business, and you create a system that constantly creates them, that's when it's joy-filled business that grows consistently. No burnout. Make sense? You guys are with me. I can tell you guys are my people. You're getting it. Okay. Next principle. Relationship marketing depends on trust. Relationship marketing depends on trust. In other words, if you're a jerk, this ain't going to work. This ain't going to work. And again, in direct sales and sales in general, a lot of the techniques and tactics and systems that have been taught over the years violate trust, honestly. People feel manipulated. They feel tricked and deceived, right? They feel like sometimes we're being disingenuous. The things that we do to create interest or that we've been taught to do, sometimes you've maybe not felt good doing it, depending on who you are. I call it icky. The word I use is icky. I felt icky. Oh, I feel icky doing that. I don't want to do that. It's not because you're a wimp. It's not because you're not, cut out for it. It's because, again, only 3% of people are really comfortable doing that stuff. And very few people like having it done to them. So here's the good news. Relationship marketing is way more effective than any of those traditional sales systems. It gets much better results. And it's fun because when people trust you, it's fun. You don't have to sell them. You don't have to convince them. You get right to helping them. That's why we're here, right? To help people. The next thing is that trust removes the ickiness from the sales process. When you've built trust with somebody, even a little bit, you don't feel icky presenting your products, your services to them. They don't feel icky when it's presented to them, right? It's comfortable. And finally, you get to go for yes. You get to go for yes. Instead of going through relationships, messaging people, cold calling people, and just getting rejection, right? Which is the typical approach. And then when they reject you, when they say no, we throw them away. Okay, that leads no good. Let's move on. Right? They're like dead bodies. Some of them are friends and family, right? No. With relationship marketing, we go for yes. Yeah, we don't expect people to say yes right away. Listen, I showed you that picture of my beautiful family. Now, that's in my opinion. You don't have to agree that they're beautiful. To me, they are. But do you think I would have that family if I asked my wife once to go out with me and she said no and I threw her away? No way, right? I had to keep building the relationship. But I didn't just keep repeating the question. It would be a no every time. I had to keep building the relationship. I had to keep investing. I had to keep earning trust. Right. And then now I'd like to say she's my advocate. You'll have to ask her. Okay, you get the idea. So how do you build trust? Let's just talk about this quickly. I'm going to go through these. I'm going to give you four what I call the essential ingredients to building trust. And then I'm going to show you the software, okay, and how to kind of bring all this together on a daily basis. But there's 4 essential ingredients to building trust. Number 1 is chemistry. Okay, chemistry. Number 2 is character. Number 3 is competence. And number 4 is consistency. So I'll go through them. Don't worry, I'll go through them and explain what I'm talking about. Chemistry, character, competence, consistency. Okay. I actually have 7 C's, but there's only so much time we have tonight to go through this. These are the essential ones. Let's talk about chemistry. Chemistry is creating a connection with someone. Okay, chemistry is creating a connection with someone. Where do you have common ground with them? What is it about you they can relate to? This is so important because there is a huge business principle here. And that is that people want to do business with a friend. People want to do business with a friend. Forget every movie you've ever seen about the mafia and Wall Street where they say it's not personal, it's only business, right? Business is personal. People want you to be their friend, and they don't want to do business with someone they don't like. Make sense? So we have to build rapport. We have to get personal with them. We have to create a connection, find out what we have in common. Number 2 is character. Character is when you demonstrate how much you care and that you're relatable. Okay, character is when you demonstrate how much you care and that you're relatable. So I want you to notice something about my definition. Character is not something you have, it's something you do. Okay, character is not something you have, it's something you do. And the reason why I say this is we think of character as something we own, right? It's like I've earned my character. Through my life, I've been pretty good. Overall, I'm a good guy. I keep my word for the most part. I have good character. But it's like a secret, right? The world doesn't know about your character until they see you in action. So from a business standpoint, you need to be showing character intentionally on a daily basis, right? And so this is what I want you guys to think about is how do you communicate with leads? How do you communicate with customers? How do you show up for your team? And then beyond that, if you're on social media, how are your posts? Are they bringing value to others? Are they showing care for others? Are they more about you? Are you, how are you out in the world? Do you take good care of the people who serve you? Are you polite? Are you courteous? Are you kind? Are you a good tipper? Do you return the shopping cart in Target to the shopping cart area? Right? Do you cut people off on the highways? Like these are important things that demonstrate your care for others. Do you show up on time for appointments? That's a big one, right? So all these little things add up to how you're demonstrating care to others. People pick up on these little things and big things, and they determine whether or not they want to do business over this. Make sense? Okay. Number 3, competence. By the way, the shopping cart thing, I'm just on a personal crusade to get those returns. So I bring it up every single training. Competence is when you demonstrate you're good at what you do and you're a business person. Okay, competence is when you demonstrate you're good at what you do and you're a business person. So the way I phrase this, let me kind of explain it because there's 2 parts. The first part is, do you understand your products? Do you understand how they work? Do you understand how they can help me? Okay. So why should I come to you as a customer if I don't feel like you can really be an advisor to me? Make sense? So whether you're new or experienced, it's important to know what you're doing, right? So new people, if I've got any new people on the call or watching this on replay, your job is to become a sponge and learn everything you can about the products, about the services, everything you have to offer. But it's not enough to know. People need to know you know. Make sense? So they need to know you know. So this is why social media is so huge for us, right? Because we can share what we're learning. We can share different things on social media so they can see your competence growing. And when you talk to people, you've got to have the confidence to talk about these things and let them know that you know what you're doing. So it's just a matter of constantly kind of dripping and demonstrating your competence, right? Okay, the second piece is, why should I join your team? Why should I become an associate? Do I feel like you can mentor me in this business to be successful? So how am I getting that information? How am I going to feel that? And again, this is how you're demonstrating. So how do we demonstrate competence? Well, it's easy when you're at the top of the food chain, right? You're like, hey, I'm a Legal Shield millionaire. Come join me. But how do you do it when you're in the middle? So again, it's small milestones. It's talking about small milestones, sharing things that you had, incentive trips, little gifts that you get, it's just sharing those things. I know there's rules as far as talking about income, but you share the benefits that are happening so that people can see that there's progress being made in the business. Are you with me? Again, it needs to be, this is all part of the strategy of building trust. People need to see these things. Oh, this person, this is a good person, good character. I like this person. I feel like they could be my friend. Wow, they really seem to know what they're doing and they're on top of their business. Are you with me? Now, there's a principle behind these things. The reason I bring these up, you guys are going, what does this have to do with his app? Because I'm going to show you how to connect with people, but I want you to be thinking about these are the things that we need to be communicating as we connect with people. Okay, there's a principle behind these three before I get to number 4. Just really quick, I want you guys to get this principle. If somebody's thinking of doing business with you, they only care about 3 things. Can I trust you? Do you care about me? Are you good at what you do? Can I trust you? Do you care about me? Are you good at what you do? Now, make sure you guys screenshot that or write that down, because I'm just going to give you the 10-second, I could train you all day on this, but I'm going to give you the 10-second training on this. If somebody feels, this is more of a feel, right? It's more of a heart or a gut feeling about you. If they feel it's yes, I can trust you, you care about me, and you're great at what you do. If they feel that way, they're an advocate. They're going to go out of their way to share you, your mission, what you're doing for them, what you can do for others with friends and family. That's where you want people, right? Because if you're helping somebody and you care about them, by extension, you want to help the people they care about, right? Now, if somebody's not sure, I'm not sure if I can trust you. I think so, but I mean, I don't really know you that well, right? Or I don't really know if you care about me yet. I'm not really sure how good you are at this. When people aren't sure, but they hope it's a yes, they'll raise objections. Okay, do you guys ever get objections? So the objection comes from the gut of, I'm not sure about one of these or all of these. An objection is a great thing because they're telling you, I want to trust you. I want to feel good about these things. I need more from you. So overcoming objections is a big part of what we do. But I want you guys to understand, you're not done when you've overcome the objection. You still need to fill in the gaps on these questions, which requires building a relationship with them after the sale. Make sense? You got to keep going. Now, the third option is there's a no on one of these. If there's a no on one of these, they will never, ever do business with you. They will call their mom, their friends, their cousins, their brothers, and the people they barely know and say, don't ever do business with this person. And some of you guys have scorched earth like that over a violation of one of these before as well, right? Probably at some point in your life. I've got like a text chain of the guys at church. So that's like 25 families, right? Like we have a group of guys at church, prayer requests and things like that. And I recently had a really terrible experience with a local business. They were incredibly rude to me, and I gave them another chance to change their approach. And I said, I just want to ask you a question about this conversation we're having. Is this really worth losing a customer over? And he said, absolutely it is. Don't ever come back. Okay. I walked outside, I opened up my text and I let those 25 guys know exactly what just happened to me. That's what happens, right? So it's so important that we are really intentional about building trust, showing how much we care about our customers, never making them feel like they're a number, or just a whatever, and that we're competent at what we're doing. You got it? Okay. Number 4 is consistency. You want to build trust, you got to be consistent, right? Absolutely, because there's no way anyone's going to trust you if you're not consistent. Do you guys know what the opposite of consistency is? The opposite word of consistent is unpredictable. And you're either one or the other. You're either consistent, people trust you, or you're unpredictable. And, it's like, I probably don't have to go too deep on this analogy, but I'm a dog person. How many of you guys are anybody dog people? We got dog people here and there, a few of you. So, my family, we're a Rottweiler family. My dog is my 5th Rottweiler that I've had. And they're, by the way, if you've never been around Rottweilers, they're really loving, sweet animals, but they can be kind of scary too, can't they? So I think of it like this, like if you wanted to hang out with my dog, would you be more likely to want to be around him if he's consistent in his behavior, or would you like to be around an unpredictable Rottweiler? So we're the same way in our business, right? So we want to be consistent, and we have to be consistent in everything that we do. So let's think about some basic things like consistently, sharing on social media, things like that, consistently doing the activities that we need to do to build our business. I'm going to show you how to use Teamzy to do that, right? There's something cool about being consistent though. When you're consistent in things, and then it spills in other areas, right? You get consistent about exercising, being healthy, consistent about other positive habits. What happens is it attracts people to you. They trust you more, but it also attracts them to you. There's a cool principle, which is that people respect consistency and desire it for themselves. People respect consistency and desire it for themselves. As you're more consistent, you will be more successful. People will trust you more, and it will attract people to your business and to your team. Pretty cool. It's kind of like the win-win-win situation, right? And if you've ever struggled being consistent, how many of you have ever struggled being consistent? Who's a human being, right? But here's the good news. How many of you brushed your teeth today? Everybody. That's good. That means that you know how to be consistent. So if you can brush your teeth, you can do income generating activities every day. It's all good. But here's the other question. How many of you have raised kids or are raising kids at this moment? How many times did you have to tell those kids to brush their teeth? I mean, you probably don't remember your parents hounding you. You just do it. But I'm right in the thick of it. I've got a 22-year-old at one end and a 5-year-old at the other end. And I'm still asking the 22-year-old if he brushed his teeth. I know though that at some point he'll be consistent at it. So it takes a little bit of time, doesn't it? Okay. So let's talk about this really quick. Are you as consistent with your relationships? This is $1 million question. Zig Ziglar used to call this the checkup from the neck up. Are you as consistent with your relationships? This is what it takes to build relationships. We have to be in regular contact with people. Relationship building is a contact sport. And what I mean by that is you have to be in regular contact. Now, I know that time is scarce. I told you guys my time was incredibly scarce. But that's why we built Teamzy. I'll show you how this works. But there's one more principle I want to share with you before I show you Teamzy. And this is what I call the big principle of the evening. Okay. If you want to build a relationship, there's only one way to do it. Investing time and connecting with people is the only way to deepen relationships. Investing time and connecting with people is the only way to deepen relationships. And I would even add connecting personally with people, right? This is how we build relationships. Nothing else really works. Now, just really quick, let me come out of my share so I can see your faces for a quick second. All right. And if you guys don't have a camera on and you can turn it on, meaning you're dressed and decent, turn it on. You got to say that, I have had people walk across the back of a room naked in Zooms before. That one didn't get on YouTube. Okay. So just a quick question. How many of you have ever received like maybe for a special occasion or a holiday or birthday or just for no reason at all, a card or a letter from someone you love? It had a handwritten message in it. And when you got that message, it was just like, oh man, that just was really moving. Did it? Everybody's had these, right? Okay, good. Now think about that card or some of the cards that you've received. Did you keep them? Everyone's nodding. Do you guys have like a drawer or a box or a stash somewhere where you've kept all these cards? Yeah, everybody always says yes to this question. There are examples though, after that book came out about 5 or 6 years ago, Marie Kondo's book, where it was like, declutter your life. There was like a short period of time when I was like, I got rid of my cards. I so regret it. But people keep these things. And what's amazing is we'll keep them and we'll save them. We can't part with them. We'll pick them up. You'll move and be like, I don't want to carry these with me, but I have to. I can't get rid of them. And then what happens is often, even after we pass away, our family will keep them. And we treasure the letters and cards of our loved ones who have departed. We keep them, right? And I don't know if any of you have a letter or a card that belonged to somebody you love who's no longer here, but it's amazing the lingering impact that they have, right? Now, real quick, here's another example of something, a way people connect. Do you ever get these little birthday postcards? Do any of you guys send these to customers? So yeah, Brenda's laughing. So these I got from my insurance salesperson. He sends me one every year. Is it nice to get these? Maybe. That's the most I ever get, as a shrug, maybe. The question is, are any of these saved in the special place? Absolutely not. These immediately get thrown away. I mean, I keep them so I can teach with them and make fun of them a little bit, right? But here's the difference. The reason we don't keep these, the reason these don't mean much to us, goes back to the principle that I was just talking about. If you want to deepen a relationship, you have to invest time and connect personally, right? These required zero investment of time. So we immediately place no value on them, right? Also, these are not personal. They're like a bulk mail out. So it's like 2 X's, right? Doesn't get either one. Impersonal, no requirement of time, no value. It's almost not even worth doing this kind of marketing, right? Now, it would be pretty easy to personalize this a little bit to get a little better impact. But a couple of the things that he did, which I think are hilarious, because, you know, he's just doing what the marketing company is telling him. It says, here's to another great year of you. So it was easier to not do a mail merge, right? So it's not personal. It's not even made out to my name. And the address says Johnson. Doesn't even, who is it for? There's 6 of us in this house, right? Who's the card for? 2 of us have birthdays in September, so it could be for anybody. So it's impersonal, requires no time. This is important. I want you guys to understand this, because there's a lot of marketing solutions out there. Many of them are automated marketing. Automated marketing feels like those postcards when you're on the receiving end. I call it impersonal marketing. It's not that effective. And when you're in a relationship business like we are, it's so important to make those connections. Now, do you need to be sitting down at a desk, writing handwritten cards all day long in order to build this business, make an impact on relationships? No, you don't. Though if you have a reason to write somebody a card, always do it, right? Because they will end up keeping it forever. In many cases, if you do a good job of it. I could tell you guys a million stories about notes I've written to people over the years that they've kept. But even if you just personalize a message and fire it off to somebody, you can make their day. And this is what I'm going to show you that we designed Teamzy to help you do, so that you can create conversations, you can make an impact in people's day with a minimal amount of time invested, because we do all the organizing for you. Does this make sense? Okay. Are you guys with me? Okay. So just real quick on this, I think I have one more slide and then we'll jump into Teamzy. Philosophically, it's great. I could tell you guys were liking what I was saying. You know, morally, you're feeling good about it, but you got to have more than just philosophy. You got to have a system. Okay. You need a system that helps you stay in contact with all of your relationships. You need to know when to contact them. You need to know what you're going to say, and you need to make sure that nobody falls through the cracks, right? And this is the challenge. This is why you need a CRM. But what I'm going to show you with Teamzy that does something special is, rather than just keeping information for you, it actually becomes like an assistant, tells you what to do with it. So let's jump out of this and we'll go into Teamzy, and I'll show you guys what I'm talking about. All right, Eric, you have about 6,000 windows open. Okay, it's this one. Okay. So first of all, I want you guys to know you can go to teamzy.com and get a free trial. Okay, we'll give you 2 weeks free trial, no strings attached. You do not need to give us a credit card to try it out. Okay, because I find that annoying. Do you guys find that annoying? Yeah, so this is how I run my business. Maybe you guys run it the same way. If I think it's annoying, I try not to do it to my customers. So you don't need a credit card to try it out. Just go try it out. So once you've logged in and started a free trial, this is what you're going to be seeing. So it's like a little setup system. It's a few screens to help you set up your account. Again, I'm not a techie person, so it has to be really easy for me to use. So there's a little video. We'll skip that because you have me live. I want you to see this screen here where we're going to set an income goal. So what's your income goal for your business? And so this is 12 months into the future. So imagine that you had a perfect year of work. You're in here working it 5 days a week for a year. What do you want your income to be? Okay. And so you can see I've set my income for 150,000 a year. So you can move that up, you can move it down. And as you move it up or down, your daily targets change. Remember, it's a system, so we can tell you exactly what you need to do, which is pretty cool. So when I put it at 150,000, you can see my daily connect target is connect with 9 prospects, 6 customers, and 4 of my associates. Okay. And so I'll talk about this in a second. I'm going to click continue. So this will configure my Teamzy to this goal. And so each one of you will have a custom dashboard based on the goal you set. But when I say connect, I don't mean sell, send some cheesy script. I just want to reach out to connect. Remember, my goal is to make their day. So I call it the make someone's day mindset. And that's what we're going to do in our power hour, is just make people's day. And I'm going to show you why that's so powerful. The next step is getting your contacts into Teamzy. The idea here is having them in one place, organized. No more sticky notes, notebooks. You can't find the notebook where you wrote that down, or spreadsheets you haven't updated since the early 90s or whatever. Digging through your phone. Who should I reach out to today? I don't know. You end up talking to the same 20 people every 3 months, right? So we get them all in one place, organized. Teamzy's cloud-based, so you can always access it through your phone, through your computer, whenever you need it, it's there. Okay. And what Teamzy is going to do, which is pretty cool, is once you get your contacts in there, we have this really smart algorithm that's going to tell you who to connect with today. Okay. Without you having to do any thinking or planning, it's going to tell you who to connect with today based on your goals. So you'll always know exactly what to do and who to do it with. Okay. This is pretty cool too. So like if you've got like a team of associates, you want to get them in here, you want to get all your customers in here. And then if you're, to get like prospect contacts, it's pretty cool. You can sync up your Facebook list in here, which is pretty neat, or other social media networks that you might have. You can bring all those contacts in. So they're here and you can actually reach out to them, which is pretty neat. And if I'm using Google Chrome, we actually have an extension which will automatically do your Facebook with one click, which is pretty cool. Okay. So let's go ahead and launch our Teamzy. Here it is. So you guys are seeing the Teamzy dashboard. And again, this is on my computer. There is a mobile version of this website that you can do from your phone. But it's definitely easier to set up on the computer. Okay. So just a quick tour of some of it. We don't have time to get into all of it tonight, but I want to kind of give you some basics. See right here where it says today's activities. These are the goals for today. Okay. So we set a goal for the year. Teamzy is giving us the goal for today. So I need to connect with 9 prospects, 6 of my customers, and 4 of my associates, right? And then I also have a goal to share 3 times. That's to share the business or the products with somebody. Now, if you're brand new, your goal might be to share once a day, not 3, right? I think it defaults to 1 when you set up your account. And then I've got a goal to add new people to Teamzy. And again, I think that one defaults to 1 too when you set up a new account. So the idea here is I'll be reaching out to connect to 19 people. I'm going to share with at least 1. I'm going to add at least 1 new person to my Teamzy database list today. Those are my daily activities. I know if I'm doing that, I'm on track. So how does this work? If I scroll down a little bit, so just keep in mind, Teamzy is a CRM. I think everybody raised their hands. You guys know what that is. So everybody's in here. Your contacts are in here. The contact information's in here. The name of their dog's in here. Their favorite Starbucks drink is in here. Their, whatever you keep track of. Birthdays, anniversaries, it's all in here, right? But what Teamzy does is it pulls them out for you every day and says, here's who's up today to connect with. So if I scroll down to my power hour, this is the module here that lets me do all my income producing contact in less than an hour. It's pretty cool, right? So it's got 4 lists: prospects, customers. And when you see distributors, that's your team, that's your associates, right? It's kind of a generic name. You've got 3 lists there. Each one tells you who to connect with on the left, and on the right-hand side is you log the message that you send them, so it's tracked in Teamzy as you go, okay? And then the 4th list is your follow-ups list, okay? And I'll show you what that is too. So the goal here in the power hour is to work these lists. Notice that each list only has 5 names. That's because we don't want you to get overwhelmed. I'll give you 5 at a time. We also don't want you to skip around too much. We just want you to work through the lists, okay? So the way that Teamzy prioritizes your contacts is based on a really simple to use 5-star rating system. We rate your contacts on 5 stars, 5 stars being the highest priority, 1 star being the lowest priority. You guys understand this. And so 5-star people will come up first. And then let me add a couple of people here. I need to add Brenda to my account. So let me show you how easy it is to add somebody. Okay. Great. Boom. We just added her. 5 stars. Okay. So I wanted her on there so we can message her real time. Okay. So 5-star people come up first, then 4 stars, then 3 stars, then 2 stars. 1-star people won't actually come up on your power hour. They're the people you put in like cold storage, right? You have some of those people, you need to keep their contact info. So we're really working 5 through 2. Now, what happens is you determine what stars they got. I don't know if I did it really quickly, but you may have noticed I clicked 5 stars for Brenda. Okay. But you can change these as you go always. You can always change their rank anytime you want. Okay. As you go. If you're on their full contact record, looking at their contact record, you can always change the stars there too. So it's real easy to change stars as you go. So 5-star people like Brenda will come up first. When I log a connect with her, which we're going to do in a second, she'll automatically come back in 30 days. I don't have to think about it. I don't have to set a reminder. I don't have to even worry about it. When I message her, she'll come back on this list in 30 days because she's 5 stars. 4-star people come back in 60 days, 3-star people in 90 days, 2-star people in 120 days. What this does is you set the star rating for each relationship. Teamzy keeps you in touch with that person on a regular basis. That's appropriate, right? So you stay in touch. You can stay in touch with a lot of relationships. You can easily manage 4,000 relationships in Teamzy and stay in touch with them throughout the year. But it also keeps you from being too creepy. Does this make sense? Right? And overdoing it. Because it's amazing how quick a month or 2 months goes by between messages. It just flies by, lets you stay in touch. And we know that the principle here is to keep in touch. Okay. So now that you kind of understand that, I'm going to show you how I would do a power hour. So once you've set up Teamzy, the first time you set it up, all you have to do is log in and go to work each day. And you start left to right. Always start left to right. And it's going to be very tempting to go to follow-ups first once you've been doing this a while, because they feel like they're the hottest. But you always want to reach out to your prospects, your customers, and your team, because your pipeline will dry up quickly if you're not starting new conversations. Okay, not maintaining relationships. This is so important. So I'm gonna take you guys through how to use the app, but there's 4 principles. I don't know if this principles is the wrong word. There's 4 actions that you need to be doing on a daily basis to be in a place of momentum in your business. Okay, and we only grow our business through momentum. Right? Because of attrition, you can't go slow and steady forever. You got to build momentum. To get in momentum, there's 4 things we have to do. 1 is we have to start new conversations every day. Start new conversations. 2 is we have to continue the conversations we started. Sometimes they take a little while. They may take several days. So we're continuing the conversations we started, hopefully moving towards a share where we share our business or our products with them. The 3rd thing we got to be doing on a regular basis is actually sharing the opportunity, right? And then the 4th action is following up on the share. Starting conversations, continuing conversations, sharing, following up on the share. It's really that simple. And this is exactly what the Teamzy Power Hour is designed to help you do. So we're going to start on our prospects. The first one on my list is Brenda. I'm going to message her. My goal is just to start a conversation. I am not trying to talk about Legal Shield. I'm just trying to say hi. I want her to smile when she gets this message. So what am I going to say? And I mean, I've done this training, I don't even know, 7 years. How many thousands of times have I trained people on this topic? People always look at me and say, I have no idea how to do that. Or I spent, at a power hour, I went into Teamzy and spent 4 hours yesterday. It's because the overthinking is real, right? So what I did was I put scripts in Teamzy that I have honed over the last 20 years that work unbelievably well. These are not cheesy sales scripts. They're icebreakers. They're conversational scripts, things to help you get things started and keep them going. So for example, with Brenda, I'm going to click on scripts right here. You see where I'm circling? Click on that. And you've got a whole bunch of choices for different format of scripts that you might want. We're Facebook friends, so I'm going to use Facebook. and I've got a bunch to choose from. The first one, I'm going to just pick the first one. Here's how it reads in case you can't see it. It says, "Hi, Jane, just stopping by to say hello. How are you? I hope your day is awesome." It's so simple, but this script, this is a little workhorse. This script works unreal. So I clicked on copy script. I'm going to paste it in Teamzy because I want to do a little bit of editing before I send it. First of all, I want to have the right name. Okay, that's important. Maybe some emojis. I don't know if you guys like emojis, but I think a couple of emojis keep it light and make it a little personal. So I just grabbed a couple. So now I've got it kind of how I want it. So it's going to feel personal. Okay. And I do recommend always using their first name whenever you start a new chat. Okay. If you're texting somebody, you might want to also add, "This is Eric, by the way. This is Eric Johnson, by the way," in the message. So they know who the heck you are, right? If you're using Facebook Messenger, like I'm going to do, then they'll know who it is. Okay, so I'm going to just copy this now and toggle to another tab where I have Facebook open. Facebook doesn't let you directly message, but this is super easy. So I'm just going to look her up. There she is. Yes, yes. Great. So I'm just going to paste that message in and send it. Now, this is where people can get stuck staring at the screen going, "Should I do it?" Just send it. Don't overthink it. Okay. Toggle back over to Teamzy. That was a Facebook message. Click on the big blue log connect button. Now it's logged. So it helped me with what to say. I sent it to her. Now I've logged it. Done. Now notice something. She's now gone off my dashboard. And I've got 1 done, 8 left. She's gone. She's back into the Teamzy ether. She'll be back in 30 days though. So here's the good news. She probably will respond, in which case we'll have a conversation. But if she doesn't, I'm not going to spend any time worrying about her. "Oh, should I message her again? See if she got my message?" You know, all that stuff we do. No, she comes back in 30 days. Forget about her. If she responds, give her some time. If not, we'll go to the next person. Tracy's next. We're going to use the same message. I actually have it in my clipboard still, so I'll just paste it in, change the name to Tracy. You guys will get really fast at this. And again, if you're on your phone, you just toggle between apps. And again, I'll do the same thing. I'll toggle over to here. I'll look her up. Okay. She's not a real person, so she's not really there. She's a fake contact. But you get the idea. So we'll now log this connect. Boom. I've got 2 done, 7 left. See how this blue circle's filling in? So as I work my way down the list, this circle will fill in. When it's all the way blue, and it'll fill in based on your goal, I'm done. So in my case, it was 9 messages. I'm just going to message 9 people. Do you see how I could do that pretty quickly? Just sending the message. Now, here's what I want you guys to just a little pro tip. Some people will immediately respond. I don't want you to run off and have the conversation. You can wait a few minutes to respond to them because you will not get all your messages sent. You'll get distracted, right? It's like a rabbit trail. So just get focused for 30 minutes or so, get all your messages out. Okay. And people don't always expect an immediate response. It's okay. They don't always respond immediately either. So once you've done with your prospects, sending the messages for your prospects for the day, you go to your customers. And by the way, past and current are the same thing. Okay. You guys have any customers who are no longer customers? Yeah. If you do, treat them as current customers. Okay. Just keep reaching out to them because they trusted you enough to purchase from you. So, all right. Or if you have another business with their customers, I'd put them in here and they trust you one place, they'll trust you another, right? Okay. So we're going to work our way down this list too. Elliot, we're going to message him. Okay. So again, when I go to scripts, and Teamzy knows I'm on customers, so it's going to give me some different script options. Okay. So, I don't know, there's different things you can do. How are you enjoying, blah, blah. How's it going? Send me an update, right? I like this one. This is a great one. Hi, Jane, just checking in to see if there's anything I can do to make your day. It's my favorite one to send. Just checking in to see if there's anything I can do to make your day. Most common response, your message just made my day. How cool is that? How cool is that? Now, why is this so important? Again, this is one of the tenets of relationship marketing. We start by making someone's day, which, by the way, makes your day. You send out 15, 20 messages and people are like, oh my gosh, you just made my day. It makes your day, which is awesome. But now they've responded and you can have a conversation. How's everything going? Send me an update. Tell me what you've been doing. How was your holiday weekend, right? Just get them into a friendly conversation. I want you guys to know, maybe you guys already know this. I've been told I'm really good at stating the obvious. People are hungry for connection right now. We've literally been separated from our community for a long time. People are very hungry for connection, and very few people actually reach out and say, hey, how are you? Right? This just is unusual. All right, so the same thing here, super easy. Change the name, boom. Add your emoji if you want. Okay. And then we'll do the same thing. You go send it on Facebook, log it in Teamzy. Okay. And so we're going to work your way down the list with the customers. Now, just really quick with customers. Customers are so hugely important because they trust you. They trust you enough to become a customer. But I want you guys to know there's 3 reasons why we want to stay in touch with our customers. And we make it really easy in Teamzy. So you just message them every time they come up in Teamzy, you'll be in touch, right? But this is why it's so important. When you're in regular contact with customers, it's good service. First of all, it's good service, right? How many of you guys want to provide good service? It's good service. If you go to a restaurant and your server never comes back to the table, that's poor service, right? But if they periodically check in, then it's good service. Okay, so we want to be in touch. The second reason is when you're in regular contact with customers, 2 magical things happen. At least statistically, it happens. It may not happen every single time, but overall, this is what happens. They'll order more products and they'll retain longer. Okay, so this is true of any business. They order more products, they retain longer. Why? Because the trust is building, right? The trust is building. The third thing that is the third amazing thing that happens when you're in regular contact, building a relationship with your customers, they introduce their friends and family to you, right? That's the magic thing. They introduce their friends and family to you. And, you know, there's ways to proactively get a better result on that, but you're not going to get there unless you have the relationship, unless you're building that trust. So we make it real easy. As the customers come up, stay in touch. Just send them a make someone stay message. A lot of times those will turn into a nice conversation. And that conversation could lead to sales. Sometimes those conversations will just be friendly and that's it too, but it's okay because you are present and building relationship. Okay. The next list would be your team, the associates on your team, connecting. How are you? What's going on? Great to, is there anything I can do for you? Do you have any questions? Are you a new person? How's, just checking in with them. This is so important because people quit the business, don't they? Yeah, people quit the business. And we work really hard to bring people onto the team. They quit the business. What's the number one thing you can do to impact retention of your team? It's building relationship. If you guys look at, I haven't found any social science. I've read a lot of social science on what motivates people, what keeps them engaged. The number one thing is there's 2 things that really motivate people. One is recognition, status, right? That's why we give people ribbons and awards and stuff. But the other one is relationship. Okay, it's relationship. They feel connected to you. They feel connected to the team. They don't want to let people down. They're going to continue working. They're going to continue being motivated and excited to be part of it. Make sense? If there's any folks of faith here, what I love is when biblical wisdom matches perfectly with what the social science is saying, which is the same thing, right? It's relationship. It's investing in people, serving others. That's what keeps them excited and sticking around. So that's why we called it Teamzy, not cheesy, leadsy, Teamzy, because we also want you to focus on your team, building those relationships. So the first half of your power hour is just messaging, make someone stay messages to prospects, customers, and the associates on your team. And that should take you less than 30 minutes. Okay. Less than 30 minutes. Just go. Okay. Great. And then the second half of your power hour will be working that follow-ups list. Now, if I go there real quick, you can see I don't have any follow-ups. Okay. Scheduled. The follow-ups aren't automatic in Teamzy. Staying connected, that's automatic. We set the follow-up. So let me just kind of give you an example. I messaged Brenda at the beginning of the power hour, right? She gets the message. She responds. Nice to hear from you, Eric. How are things with you? It's just going to be something like that. Great to hear from you. Something simple. So now she's responded and I have a chance to maybe have a conversation with her. I know that not every time will it be a great conversation. Some of these will fizzle out, which if it does, no big deal. She comes back on my dashboard 60 days later, boom, 30 days later, whatever her rank is, I'll message her again. What happens though is that people aren't used to getting messaged. So even if that conversation fizzles, they tend to go look at your social media. They tend to be more attentive to you because now they're interested. You took an interest in them. Make sense? But let's say we're having a great conversation. She says, it's great to hear from you. And I say, oh my gosh, it's been forever since we talked. Catch me up on what you've been up to in the last 10 years, right? For a lot of your people, it's going to be like that, right? Catch me up on what you've been up to for the last 10 years. What's going on with you? And so we're messaging back and forth. She gives me a little bit of an update. Now, I'm just going to kind of give you guys this. This is the easiest way to talk about your business, is just casual conversation about what's going on in their life. Be interested, listen, and then share with them what's going on in your life. It's the law of reciprocation. They expect that update from you. Tell them everything that you've got going on that's interesting, and then mention your business too as part of it. It's just part of your life. Did I tell you I started my own home-based business? It's with a company called Legal Shield. You ever heard of them? Oh, they're amazing. This is why I love it. This is why I'm passionate about it. Okay. So here's the thing I want you guys to know. When you're telling them about what's going on with you, you always mention your business. You tell them what it is and why you're passionate about it. Okay. Tell them what it is and why you're passionate about it. It's not a big deal, but if you tell them what you're doing and why you're passionate about it, they're always going to be excited for you. Always going to be proud. Thinks that's great. That sounds cool, Eric. Good for you. Right? Now think of it another way. Let's say, the last 10 years, I went to school to become a veterinarian. I'm passionate about helping animals. What are they going to say? Cool. I just finished my training to be, level 1 electrician that can work on high poles. And I'm super excited because it's really rare accreditation. Wow, Eric, cool. Oh, I started my own Legal Shield business. It's amazing. And this is why I love it. This is why I'm passionate about it. It's the same thing. Okay. It's part of the conversation. I just want you guys to get comfortable with that. So as I'm telling her about it, she's like, wow, that's cool. All you have to do is say, yeah. And if you ever want to learn more about it or get more information on it, just let me know. I'll be happy to get you some more. It's so simple. That's just kind of the way to do it. Okay. So she says, yeah, that does sound kind of interesting. I would like to learn more. Okay, great. So let's get off this chat thing and let's have a conversation. And we'll talk, you have 5-10 minutes. Let's get on a chat. We'll, on a call or a Zoom or something. Let's just talk more about it. So if I get a chance to talk to her now and share the business opportunity with her, how do I log it in Teamzy? Let me just show you how that works. Do you guys see how starting conversations can lead here? Right? So that's the idea. You start conversations all the time. You've got conversations going, which lead naturally to talking about your business. And it helps you uncover who might be interested. Not everyone will be interested day one, but you're starting to kind of plant those seeds with them. Okay. So she's not on my dashboard anymore because I already connected with her. So for me to log something else with her, I have to look her up. So this little lookup bar will help me do it. Okay. And that just brings her up. Here's her full profile. You can see the message I sent her is logged in activity, right? Pretty cool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on connect because now I want to log this conversation we're having where I'm actually sharing the business. So I'm going to go in here and let's say it was a Zoom. So I'll click video chat and I'm going to put all the notes from our Zoom. Excuse me. Sorry, everybody. Didn't have time to mute for that one. Okay, I'm going to put all the notes from our Zoom. And then right here where it says share on the bottom left, I'm going to click on that and I'm going to move it off connect, which is kind of the default. And I'm going to move it to sharing the business opportunity. Okay. So now it's going to log as a share. And then as soon as I did that, it immediately toggled the follow-up. So it's added a follow-up to her record 2 days from now. Now, if you want to change the date of the follow-up, you just click it and you can change it to any date you want. I would typically follow up tomorrow. So I'll change it to tomorrow. So let me just log this. And you can see now it logged that we had the video chat where I shared the business opportunity and it's scheduled a follow-up for tomorrow. Okay, it's all done. Now, if I go to my dashboard to show you what it looks like there, my follow-ups list now has Brenda due tomorrow. Okay. So tomorrow when I come into Teamzy, I'm going to connect with prospects, customers, distributors, whoever's up next. And then I'm going to see if I have any follow-ups due. Brenda will be due. So what do? I just send her another message. This time, though, it's following up on the share. So let me show you how easy this is. It's exactly the same process. You go to scripts and you get a share follow-up. So here it is, follow-up number 1. So instead of just connecting, hey, just thinking about you, I'm actually following up. So follow-up number 1 reads like this. Hi, Jane. Of course, I'm going to change it to Brenda. Just checking in like I promised I would. What questions do you have for me? Now, there's 10 follow-up scripts. They're numbered in order. Honestly, you guys can just use them. Send 1, then 2, then 3, then 4. That's how you follow up. There's no reason to overthink. These have been honed to work really well. So I'm going to copy that script and we're going to send it just like we did our connect message. I'm just going to, and in a second, we'll do Q&A and we'll tie this up because I know we've been talking a while. So there it is. I've got my follow-up script ready to go. I'm going to toggle over to Facebook and send her the follow-up script. Okay, there, I've sent her the follow-up script. And then when I log it in Teamzy, finish logging it, Teamzy is going to say, oh, did that complete your follow-up you had scheduled? So I'm going to leave that checked because yes, it was the follow-up. Because there are cases where you're messaging somebody and you have a follow-up in the future and you're not really, you want to keep that follow-up, right? So that's why. Okay, I'm going to click on add another follow-up. So I want to follow up again. It's Wednesday. So maybe I'll follow up again on Monday. Okay, so I'm just setting another follow-up. I can leave myself a note of what the follow-up is. By the way, when I write FU2, it means follow-up number 2. Okay, just to clarify. All right, so we're going to create that one. So now it's saying, okay, you're checking off today's follow-up and creating a new one for Monday. Perfect, complete. And that's exactly what happened. And so now you can see, remember, there's the share that I forgot to mention before, but that share logged on our dashboard that we did earlier. But now Brenda's follow-up is due Monday. So we completed today's follow-up. Monday, when I will do my power hour, she'll be due again. And I'll send her, when I go on that follow-up, it's going to say on there, follow-up number 2. Okay. And so when I go on follow-up I'll send her follow-up script number 2. See how easy this is? Super easy. Okay. So your power hour is prospects, customers, associates, follow-ups. And then what I recommend you guys do, because you're going to get a really high response rate, especially if you start with your 5-star and 4-star relationships. What I recommend you guys do is you set aside a little bit of time in your day to just answer the incoming messages. Okay. So for example, I had a full-time job and the side hustle. How many of you, that's your situation? So what I did was I would do my power hour early in the morning. This is just the way I did it early in the morning. And then half of my lunch hour, I would respond to messages. And then in the evening, when everybody's just like Netflix and chilling, like between 8 and 9, I would answer messages again. Now, the time blocking those responding times really helps, because otherwise you'll be on your phone all day. You'll get in trouble at work and you'll get in trouble with your spouse. So having but you can do a lot of messaging in 30 minutes. If all you're doing is looking at your unread messages and just firing off a response to them, you can get a lot done. Does this make sense? So you start conversations, you have conversations, you share, and you follow up on shares. And what happens is you keep following up. So I put 10 follow-up messages in there for you guys to use. You know the fortunes in the follow-up. You've heard this before, fortunes in the follow-up. It really is in the follow-up, because 80% of sales happen between the 7th and 10th follow-up, right? That's not a surprise, right? 80% of sales happen between the 7th and 10th follow-up. That's a bummer though, because most people only follow up 3 or 4 times. But I want you guys to understand you need to follow up more. But what will happen is if you just keep doing it, if you just keep going, every month you'll have people convert. Now, is there anybody here on the call who's a little bit just nervous? Like, hey, if I follow up 10 times, now I am going to be icky and annoying and people aren't going to like me. Nobody wants to admit it, but everybody feels that way, right? So just really quick, I want you guys to understand there is a way to follow up where it's not annoying, where people don't get irritated with you. And so there's 2 principles to follow. I'm going to teach them to you really quickly, but I want to kind of shift your mindset, because how many of you are here because you really love this and you want to help people with it? Okay, good. Because my system doesn't work if that's not your motivation. So We want to help people, but if they don't have the product, they don't have this, if they're not signed up, it's not going to help them, right? They need to make income, but if they haven't joined the team, it's not going to help them. So if your goal is to help them, and I'm talking about people who are like, yeah, I'm interested. You've shared it with them. You've said, great, I'm going to help you. Here's what I think we can do together. They're like, great. You have to follow up on that because you've made a promise. You've made a promise to help them. The only thing that you have to help them with is your ability to keep following up. Does it make sense? So it's keeping a promise. This is what I always say about following up. Following up is an act of love. Following up is an act of love. If you're in this business to help people, following up is actively loving them. Make sense? Now, how do you do it without being annoying? There's two principles. If you use my scripts already incorporate these principles. The two principles are this. When you're sending a follow-up message, don't ask them to do anything. Don't ask them to do anything. I learned this in my consulting business. People will pay me to call them and then not show up, right? And they still have to pay. It's like $500. They still have to pay. But what happens is they're going to cancel the service, right? If I just take the money. So I learned how to get them on the phone was to continue following up without asking anything of them. Oh, no, don't worry about calling me back. I'll try you again tomorrow. Okay. You don't worry about a thing. I'm here for you. So when you connect and follow up without asking them, please respond. What the heck is wrong with you? Why haven't you signed up? You said you were interested. No, nothing like that. You just be present. Just be present. That's the first thing. Don't ask them to do anything. Okay. I mean, you can ask them, do you have any questions or is there anything I can do to help you? But don't ask them to do any work. Number 2 principle is your follow-up message needs to be short enough they can read it without opening it. Short enough they can read it without opening it. The majority of your follow-ups will go unopened. And you think they're not interested? Are you crazy? People are obsessed with reading their messages. But they don't always want to open them because they're not, even if when they're really busy doing something else, they can't respond right now. But they will still read the message. Does this make sense? They have good intentions about responding later. They don't always do it. Your goal is just to get it read. That keeps you top of mind. Make sense? So short, sweet messages they can read without opening, and you're not asking them to do anything. You're going to stay top of mind. What will happen is typically 20% of the people that you're talking to will respond right away. They'll convert right away. Awesome. You're already getting those people. But the other 80% will not respond, not respond, not respond, not respond, not respond. Has this happened? You're like, I thought they were interested. Why are they not responding? And then you make up stories why they're not responding. They're not responding because their life is happening still. That's all. So 80% of people won't respond to the first 5 or 6 messages. Nothing. So you're not doing anything wrong. Nothing wrong with you. Nothing wrong with the relationship. You just stay present, because on that 6th follow-up, 7th follow-up, they'll respond. I'm so sorry. Oh my gosh, Eric. Sorry I haven't responded. Thanks for staying in touch. I really appreciate it. And then they'll tell you why they didn't respond. Life's been crazy. Oh my gosh, COVID, Putin, I don't know, gas prices. They'll come up with all kinds of stuff. The dog, I had to amputate my dog's leg. I mean, it could be anything. It's okay. Whatever it is, I'm here. I told you I'd be here. I promised you I'd be here to help you. I'm still here to help you. If you're ready to talk some more about moving forward, let's do it, right? This is how the system works. It's like clockwork. I don't care what business you're in, it works. Make sense? Easy to teach, easy to replicate, because it's about being present, serving, loving on people in a systemized way, providing excellent care, and it just works. So that's my quick presentation on how it works. That's just me. You guys can tell I'm a coach. I can't just show you the software. I have to get into it a little bit. Hopefully it was really helpful. What I want to do now is let me just kind of let you know how much it costs, and then we'll do some Q&A if you have questions. Okay. So we did this. Okay, great. So just a couple things, reminder, you get the full CRM with Teamzy. It also has the Power Hour module, which lets you do everything we just demoed in less than an hour a day. So you don't have to be real technical. You can just get right in there and get it done, but you'll still be able to find every contact, customer, conversation you've logged. You've got the intelligent module to crush your Power Hour. You'll be able to view and track leads as you go. You'll be able to get your team motivated. There's a whole team section we didn't have a chance to demo, but maybe Brenda will start getting into that as you guys get into Teamzy, and she can start helping do some accountability with our team report in there. You can see your performance as you go too, which is really cool. There's one of the things that's really neat on this is it tracks your conversions and things. So over time, you can really hone in on some of those business practices. The scripts library that I showed you, it's included in here. We don't charge additional for that. We just put it in there. They're designed again for Facebook Messenger, text, any type of touch point. They're not cheesy sales scripts. They're conversation starter, staying in touch scripts, follow-ups, reconnecting. But also what I love is you can put your own scripts in Teamzy and save them. So if there's certain things or emails that you send all the time, you can save them in Teamzy and have them at your fingertips and have them ready to launch, which is kind of cool. And in addition to the Teamzy CRM, the scripts and all that, there's also training included in Teamzy. Now, I do a lot of trainings that people pay for, additional trainings that you'll have access to too, if you decide to purchase those. But the Ultimate Mindset Training Suite, which I'm going to show you really quick, is included with Teamzy. And so there's 4 trainings in here. There's 3 goal setting trainings. How many of you have set your written goals for 2022? Okay, awesome. You guys are ahead of the game. So I do teachings on how to set your BHAGs, your big, hairy, audacious goals. And again, these have downloadable workbooks and things are great. You can set your team members on this when you get a new person, help them set their goals. We do the BHAG goals training. Then we do the SMART goals training. So those are the goals you're going to be achieving in 2022. And then we help you set a personal business standard. The personal business standard is huge. A lot of business owners don't have a personal business standard. This is your minimum activity for a day, right? If you breathe today, you've got a personal business standard. This is also huge as you build a team, because as your team members set a personal business standard, something you can hold them accountable to. We also help you uncover your why, the big why, WHY. That's the emotional basis to your goals. If you don't have an emotional reason that's driving, goals are really meaningless. People quit the business. So a lot of people don't get to their why, so we help you uncover that. And then we'll teach deeper on relationship marketing. So that's included too, which is pretty cool. Okay, so some action steps. Go to teamzy.com, start your 14-day free trial. Okay, when you're done with the 14 days, you can set up a subscription. Teamzy's $29.99 a month. That's the most affordable CRM probably on the planet. $1 a day. Have everything planned and ready to go in your business. Okay. If you love it and you want to go on an annual basis, you can save a little bit more that way too. Okay. I also recommend you join the Teamzy community Facebook group. So once you're in Teamzy, you'll see community. You can link to the Facebook group. It's a great forum for questions and people using Teamzy. Just keep in mind, there's no recruiting in there, no selling in there. But I think that's obvious, right? I also recommend you get a 30-day success partner to do Teamzy to try this thing out with. Look around and say, you want to do this together? Okay. What we do with the success partner, see, look, if you don't do, let's just be honest, a lot of you guys are going to do the free trial and never look at it again. You're going to sign up, not come back, right? But if you get success partner or partners, or maybe do it as a team, it's amazing what you can get done in a month. You can actually get a lot of production done. What I want you guys to do with your success partner is share your goal. Like, here's what my daily target looks like in Teamzy. Like mine, the one I demoed was 19. See, I've done this so long, I know exactly what it was. It was 19. It was 9 prospects, 6 customers, 4 associates, 19 connects. What's yours? What are you committing to doing 5 days a week? Okay, great. And then what I want you guys to do is send the screenshot. When you're done with your Teamzy for the day, screenshot it, send it off to your partner. It's super annoying when they do that to you and you haven't done your Teamzy. Right? But then it kicks you in the butt to get it done. And you'll be amazed how many conversations you start because of that accountability. One little thing I do want to encourage you is you don't have to get 100% every day. Just do the best you can. Just do the best you can, right? And then send it to your partner. Last action step, I'm going to give you a challenge. This is my 5-day challenge, okay? I challenge you guys to use Teamzy 5 days in a row and send 20 messages a day, connect with 100 people for 5 days in a row. Okay, just do it once, because I know what's going to happen is it's going to be mind blowing for you. You're going to create so many conversations. Your phone's going to feel like it's going to melt down. And the reason why I want you to do that is because I want you to know that you have the power to create momentum in your business at any time. It's not dependent on anything else external, but you can create that momentum. And a lot of times without a challenge like this, you don't have a catalyst to try it. Here's my who's in for the challenge? Let me see. Public accountability. Well, there you go. All right. Sandra's up. Do I really want to accomplish it? You put your hand up. Now you're on the hook. Okay, good. Awesome. So let's go ahead and I'll stop talking now. And I know people had to jump off, but if you guys have questions you want to ask, feel free to unmute, ask away.
Hey, Steve here. Real quick question. I was driving down the road, so that's why my camera's off. But so let's say I reach out to Brenda,
yep,
and she responds back, and I've got a conversation, and I've already made my contact with her that day, so it's technically moved to 30 days.
Yeah.
But then she responds, and I'm like, I don't want to forget to get back to her because I have hundreds of people a day that reach out to me. So how do I go in and make sure that even though Brenda's been put out 30 days, hey, wait, she responded and she is interested in maybe getting going again or something like that, then how do I change that to start a different conversation with her or some different dialogue and make sure I'm on top of that person?
To continue it. Yeah. So, okay. So, here's just the simple way that I did it, which was, and I don't know if you heard me because you were driving and I don't know how much you were able to catch, but if you
most of it.
You got most of it. So if you block time for returning messages, right? Like you set aside some good time, like a couple of blocks of time. This is when I'm going to return messages. That discipline helps you because, and try not to read them in between because then you're opening them and you're not responding. But that discipline helps because then you can literally just go through and answer all your unread messages.
Got it.
Does that make sense?
You go person's date from 30 days.
So if you do that twice a day, if you answer all your unread messages twice a day, and you're gonna be on top of, let's say, 98% of them.
Yeah.
The couple that you miss will pop up in 30 days, and you're still on top of it. Does that make sense? So
yeah, that makes sense. I just want to make sure that I can manually toggle a contact if I've got to change it and change their star.
Oh, yeah. You just look her up. You just look them up. You can log anything you want.
Okay. And social media. Okay. I think I had a question about that, but I think Brenda can answer that later. She's more into the social media right now than I am. So good. Hey, it was good to meet you. Good. It was good to hear your training, and you got some good tips in there. I took down. So
awesome.
Oh, it's 29. I saw that. I went to the website, 2 months free if you do a year. Can we can also edit any scripts that we have. We can add them that are more geared towards our business, or even link in that would be beneficial to or like a link to one of our videos, etc., to the text or the message or what have you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah. And then if you do email follow-ups, you can actually save your emails as scripts so that you never have to write an email twice.
Awesome.
So you can just grab that script and you send. If you use Gmail, you can actually send it from Teamzy because it syncs to Gmail. But otherwise, you can just load it up and it'll have your links all set up. Yeah, you can definitely do all that, which is great.
Okay, and last question I have for you. I'm because I've got my own system that I've been doing for 20 years, so I'm always like, I'm open. Clearly, I'm on the Zoom, but I know it's my unique system, and it's helped me have a lot of success. Another big question for me is Apple. Are you guys iOS? Have an iOS app?
Well, it's actually not an app. It's just a mobile website. But
it is.
Yeah.
So no app, but it's all different. Yeah.
It's all, you do it through Safari or whatever you're using as your browser. But what you can do is you just save that login page as a thumbnail on your home screen like an app, and you just jump right in. But yeah, I'm all Apple. I'm looking at a Mac right now, iPhone.
I know. It'd be nice to get I was just curious about the app because I'm on the road a lot. It'd be nice to just log in and ding, do that. So.
Yeah, we're working on an app. I think the problem is we did such a good job on our mobile website that people really like it. So, but we are working on an app. In an app, you have to throw a few things out usually.
Yeah.
And streamline
there's
a little more
with updates. And I got it. Okay, no worries. I use the desktop now for one of our systems that we have. So, okay. Awesome. Very good to meet you, Eric. And by the way, where are you located?
I'm in San Diego.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, we're up in a lot of us from Seattle. So good to meet you.
Yeah, it looks nice and green.
Well, yeah.
A few less palm trees than my backyard.
March, not Hawaii yet. It's not sunny yet. That'll be in June or July.
Michelle, I think you had a question too, didn't you?
I did. I'm curious, what would you suggest for, like, Bob and I work the same business? How would you suggest working that?
Yeah, so you guys work the same list of contacts? Yeah.
Well, we're
Not necessarily.
not necessarily. He has his contacts. I have my contacts, but we're the same business.
Yeah. So what you can do is you can use a tag. You can tag the contacts. So when you import Bob's, you tag it as Bob's contact, right? So there's no way to separate the list, but as you're working a power hour, if you see Bob's contact, you can save that one for him and go to the next person, right?
Okay.
So you can use tags that way. A lot of times, if you guys work together, so this is kind of what I used to do my business with my wife as well, even though I was the primary person, but she lent me all her relationships, but they didn't really want to hear from me. So a lot of times I would say something like, "Oh, Lisa and I were talking about you today. How are you?" Type thing. And so I would always, when I talked to her contacts, it would always be from the two of us. Right. So it would be like, Lisa and I were talking about you, and I would add her on the group chat, and then she would do all the responding. So that's how I did it. I would do, I'd pull up a group chat with my wife and that person and be like, Lisa and I were talking about you. How the heck are you? And then Lisa would do all the responding. So just little nuances that you can do. I had, a lot of the women wanted to talk to her, and we had more women than anything else. So I leveraged, they wanted to talk, they wanted her, not me, but I was the one that had, because she was busy doing a lot of stuff. I was one sitting down doing Teamzy, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Cool. Thank you.
Sure thing.
Eric, this is Ken, and I have a question. It's kind of a takeoff off Steve's, but a little bit different. I've watched a number of your videos on your site, and this is the second time I've been through a kind of a presentation like this. And one of the things that we do, and I guess everybody in network marketing does, you expose a contact and then you set a follow-up time, and you can do that through your follow-up. But if you want any less than 30 days for your turnaround time, is it true that you have to set every manual follow-up? I'll give you an example. When you bring a new associate on, you want to be in contact with them every day. And so, but you don't want to go in and set 30 reminders, 30 days in a row, 30 follow-ups. How do you handle things that are less than 30 days? Only manually through the follow-up?
Well, yeah. So when you set a follow, you can set multiple follow-ups on one contact. You are able to do that. You are able to go in and set multiple follow-ups, on one contact. As far as just staying in contact, staying and connecting with somebody, you can change the frequency of your ranks in settings. So you can make a 5-star person every week if you wanted to.
Oh,
that makes sense.
Cool. Yes. That's a big bonus.
Yeah, you can customize that in settings. I mean, in general, my experience, 30, 60, 90, 120 days works great for keeping in touch. So, but it's flexible. You can modify how you want. If you're going to say, "Oh, I'm going to use the 5-star rank for this, we're going to set it every day, and I'm going to bring people in and out." I always say, most people, if you have 3,000 or 4,000 relationships, you probably have 10 to 25-star relationships for real, right? Those are people that if you message them every month, they don't think you're a nut. So, but temporarily, you use the 5-star all the time. Every new customer should be 5-star for a couple months, and right. And then you back it off after you've kind of warmed it up, type thing. So yeah, you can customize that as you go. So keep in mind, you can do multiple follow-ups. You can change the frequency of the connect in settings.
And you can modify the number 1 setting as well, or is that always in the cooler?
You can modify the number 1 setting as well.
And you can have no
Well,
rank?
actually, I don't know if that's true. I don't know if that's true. Let me check.
And you have no, and you can have no rank, or everybody has to get a rank?
Everybody has a rank.
Okay.
Now, the default rank is 3 stars. The default rank is 3 stars. So if I go to settings and I go to customizations, up next schedule. Oh, I can change the 1 star. Wow, look at that. There you
Your
go.
system's more powerful than you knew.
Yeah. I've always used 1 star 0 days. That's what I've been teaching for 20 years. So, but it's cool. So the engineers win this one. They win this round. They gave you a customization on that one too. So it's good.
Great.
You can make 1 star your 1-day rating if you want.
Yeah, absolutely.
So there's some cool things you can do here. You can also create a custom share. So if you want a different share, I think we'll probably have products and business opportunity as shares. You can create a new one and save it. There's some other cool stuff that you can do too that I didn't really have a chance to talk about. But one of the things are these daily checkoffs, little things that you check off that you want to keep yourself accountable to. You can see I added walk the dog, devotional time. So I added those. You can add. So there's 4 that are standard that are posting on social, doing personal development work, using your products yourself, being a product of your product, getting some exercise, and then you can add more. So
thank you. That's very, very helpful.
I'll tell you my experience. It just kind of feels like you're playing a game. Like, this is what you have to do. You start to do it. The little circle starts to fill up. And by the time your timer goes off, you're done. And you feel like you've accomplished something. And you don't have to worry about it. Like you said, it's kind of a no-brainer. I haven't been using the scripts as well as I need to, especially on the follow-ups. I gave somebody eyes today because I could see that they'd read my stuff and they weren't responding. So that was probably not good. So,
well, the thing is the thing about the scripts is they help you just not overthink. They help you to not overthink and just know that they're just light, friendly scripts. They're not going to push anybody away, but they let you get it done and get it out. Right. Yeah. And just keep in mind with follow-ups. I mean, I know I already mentioned it, but people are not ignoring you. You represent a new thing, and they're back in their normal grind. I always joke, like, the message comes through and they're like, oh yeah, I forgot I got to finish up that thing with Eric. And they're like, the dog's throwing up on the baby. I got to go. Right. Or I'm in the middle of, I think of, like, when you're like, we do a lot of, like, we'll get a rotisserie chicken at Costco. You guys ever get those? And you're like pulling it apart. I mean, you're just like a mess, and your phone buzzes. You look over at it. There's no way you're going to pick up that phone right now and respond. Those are the kinds of things that are happening when you're following up,
Yeah.
So you don't want to harass them.
No.
Any other questions? Okay.
I don't know.
Oh,
So,
and I think that Brenda's in deep negotiations to get you guys a customized Legal Shield version of Teamzy pretty soon. So we'll give you more info on that as it happens.
So question for you, Eric, on, like, part of our business is maintaining relationships with employers who are offering this as an employee benefit. Would we just put them in as, I know my members I put in as customers, but if I wanted to have a, HR manager, what would you suggest for that? Where would I put them in?
I'd probably put them in as a customer.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd put them in as a customer and then tag them.
Okay.
For what they are.
And then the follow-ups could be linked to, if I need to follow up with them quarterly.
Yeah.
Every 6 months. Okay.
Yeah. Well, if you need to follow up them quarterly, I mean, just depending on when you put them in Teamzy, the stars will do that for you. But by tagging them, what's cool about when you add a tag is it creates a group, right? So if you tag them, and now it's like, oh, today I actually, beyond my normal Teamzy Power Hour, I want to reach out. I have a special offer. I want to reach out to all of my HR people. You click on the tag and it brings that whole list, and you can work the list.
Okay.
Does this make sense? So the tags, let's say you went to a trade show. And I don't know if you guys ever do that. I mean, it's not the highest and best use of time, but maybe you do. Maybe you went to a networking event. That's, you know, a networking event, and you met 10 people, got their business cards. I would tag all those people that I met at this networking event, right? So because that's in addition to my normal power hour, like I want to follow up on those leads quickly. So pull up that list, and I would probably message, you know, I'd just work my way down those 10 people, send them all the same message, like, hey, it was great meeting you the other night. And then I might just want to check in a couple times a week on that list for a few weeks before I let them just drop into my Teamzy flow. Does that make sense? So the tagging becomes really powerful. Same thing goes, like, if, you know, I would tag every product somebody's using or buying. And then if something happens, a change to the product, a bonus, something special, then you can pull up the list of everyone who has that product. You could give them the special offer. So the tagging becomes, so tonight I taught you the power hour. Like if you guys can master the consistent power hour, you're always gonna have a full pipeline. But then you can leverage Teamzy to do different things and to get more in depth and build upon that. Makes sense?
So we should be tagging our different memberships that we have in there. So if somebody buys just the legal plan, or they buy the legal with the home business, or all that would be a different tag added to it.
Yeah.
And people can have, as I say, clients can have multiple tags.
Yeah, unlimited.
Okay.
Because I also would tag veteran. I would tag, right? And then on Veterans Day, I messaged them, veteran, instead of putting a post on Facebook that says, thank you, veterans, for your service. Why not say, Bob, thanks for your service? Right? It's personal, and they're like, wow, thanks. You know, so it's like you have things like that. You know, again, it's like the next level, right? But you have that information at your fingertips.
So two questions. One is what is the reporting ability other than just dumping things in a CSV file? The other is there a way to, other than putting in notes, to specifically identify birthdays or anniversaries so that they'll come up and automatically send something, or come up and remind us to send something?
We have a birthday report. Do we have an anniversary report? I can't remember if we built that. The birthday report, if you put their birthday in, it doesn't come up and say, go do it, but you can pull the birthday report at any time, see whose birthday it is.
Okay.
I know I'm not sharing, but let me just get in here and see real quick. Team tools. Yeah, so there's a birthday report. We do track anniversary, but we don't have a report for that at this moment. So there is a birthday report. What was the other part of your question? I'm sorry, I forgot.
About ability to actually print things out, like print out reports of clients, prospects, or, you know, you tagged the 25 people you met at the networking event, and you'd like to print all those people out in order to be able to scribble notes on the paper or take it or do whatever. Are there report printing capabilities? There are some.
Though I will tell you, I'm a bit averse to printing it out when it's in your phone. I want you to go high tech, right? But I get it. So you can print, there's an activities report that shows everything you did today, or for any time range in the past, right? So you can see exactly who you reached out to and what you said, what you did with them, which is pretty cool. There's the full export of data, which is your giant CSV master file, which you can manipulate however you want. So that's like the big one, you know, that's your big file. And then there's also a team report, which is activities, numbers of activities aggregated. And you're all on that team report. So the first line will be you. And then as associates give permission to track their data, you'll be able to see if they're using Teamzy, if they're reaching out to contacts, how many they logged. But what you can't see on those is you won't see any contact information. So that data is protected for each user, right? It's like locked away in a vault, but you'll be able to see like that they reached out to 10 prospects. You just don't know who. Yeah.
Cool. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I think you answered everybody's questions. They quit coming.
Okay. Well, here's the last thing I'll say is there's two ways to get help with Teamzy. One is the help center, which is great. It's full of FAQs and instructions and things for those of you wired that way. We also have real, live, amazing customer service people on our team. And so there's a little help button that floats around the bottom right of Teamzy. You click it and it'll send an email to our team, which they'll respond within 24 hours, sometimes right away. It just depends on the time of day you send it, on any question you come up with. But the other thing that we do offer is we offer one-on-one Zooms with our customer service team. So if you are kind of like tech averse and you don't want to deal with the setting up, you can schedule a Zoom consultation, and somebody on the team will jump on the Zoom with you and they'll help you get set up, or just demo or answer questions, whatever you need from them. So keep that in mind.
I scheduled that, and then I figured out how to get everything uploaded. And when they got there, they're like, "Oh, you got it." I'm like, "Yep." It's not. I mean, I'm not very tech savvy, and I was able to figure it out. So,
well, like the instructions, again, they're made for me to go, okay, I do what? I click here, great. Then I do what? And then I click here. Yeah. So if I can do them, you guys can do them. But yeah, definitely jump in there, get your free trials. And, you know, if you get in there and you're like, I'm not sure what to do, just schedule one of those Zooms. Let us walk you through it. So setting up the CRM is not a skill you need. You just need to be able to use it, right? Like I have an understanding of how a combustion engine works, but I don't work on my car's engine, but I drive that thing, right? Makes sense. So I wish I could work on it, but it's kind of like, I just need to get places. So that's what this is like. This is like your vehicle, you know, we'll help you get it set up under the hood and you just get in and drive it. So hopefully that was helpful. Thank you for having me tonight. I will get this recording link to you so you can get it to the team for replays. But I appreciate the opportunity. Welcome to the Teamzy family, everyone. God bless you. Have a great night.
thanks for your time, Eric. Thank you very much.
Thank you very, very much.
Take care all.
Great info.
Thank you.